Welcome back then guys to this live stream. It is now time for the main event, which is the British Grand Prix here at Silverstone. And if you didn't see what happened in qualifying yesterday, it was very close between the whole pack. But in the end, defending champion Fernando Alonso managed to grab pole position with a surprising Max Verstappen. He managed to get his Martini car onto the front row of the grid, setting exactly the same time as Alonso did, after Alonso set his, of course, and Lewis Hamilton in third place. So it'll obviously be a bit of a challenge for Verstappen, but he'll be hoping to try and capitalise on this and get some more points for Martini if we can. We've got 59 laps of action here at the British Grand Prix coming your way. So before we start then guys, let's mute this, turn this up a little, and let's have a look at the grid for the British Grand Prix. Here we go then. So, on pole position, it is Fernando Alonso with Max Verstappen in second. Lewis Hamilton lines up in third with Romain Grosjean in fourth. Kimi Räikkönen starts in fifth with Nico Hülkenberg in sixth. Brendan Hartley, a very impressive 7th in the monster car. Antonio Giovinazzi lines up in 8th. Sebastian Vettel, struggling in the EMR, can only manage 9th on the grid. He's joined alongside fellow compatriot Pascal Wehrlein, who starts 10th in the AMP. Esteban Ocon is 11th, followed by the first of the two struggling Eldorados. Valtteri Bottas 12th, Sergio Perez 13th. Daniel Ricciardo starting 14th. Charles Leclerc starts 15th, with Stoffel Van Dorn in 16th position. Oliver Rowland starts 17th, with Kevin Magnussen a very disappointing 18th. Jean-Éric Vergne starts 19th, ahead of Carlos Sainz Jr., very disappointed with 20th. And on the back row of the grid, it's Scott Dixon and Ed Jones, the 2 Mars Grand Prix cars. And that is the grid for the British Grand Prix. So there is the grid then guys for the British Grand Prix, and the weather. It is bright and sunny, so leave your predictions. Maybe there'll be some chaos, who knows. Will Alonso end his retirement drought here at end his retirement run here at Silverstone? Let's wait and see, shall we? Without further ado, let's get to the British Grand Prix. So, here we are then on the grid then. It's Alonso on the right of your screens, Verstappen on the left. Who's going to get the lead into turn 1 as we wait for the 5 red lights to go off to signify the start of the British Grand Prix here at Silverstone? The fans hoping that one of the hometown favourites can pull on a show. 1 light, 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights, it's on. And it's lights out, and away we go here at Silverstone. It's a good start from Max Verstappen, who seems to have got the jump on Alonso as he keeps side by side up towards Copse Corner. Alonso, though, just able to hang it around the outside to keep on the lead. Good start from Hülkenberg from 6th on the grid to get up into 3rd. He's jumped Hamilton at the start. Vettel's had a good start to get up to 7th place, as everyone, I think, has got through the first few turns safely. We'll have to double check. Bit of contact there. Dixon's been pushed, and it looks like Perez has been off as well. And what on earth happened at the start? Perez has been taken out, and the start has his Dixon. Let's have a look as we go through Copse Corner. He got tapped by someone. Was it? It was either the Shadow or the SuomI, as Perez has lost his front wing. So coming around the Copse Corner. Going through those corners then, so let's see who it was that got Perez down at turn 1. Who was the one that hit him into turn 1? It was Leclerc. Leclerc hit him. The man who's replacing him at Eldorado next season managed to hit him at Copse Corner. And also a little bit later on, Dixon has a spin down at Baggett's and Beckett's. And we'll have a look and see how it occurred with Leclerc and Dixon in a little bit. But let's see. Coming around Copse. And it looked like Perez was trying to lift off. And Leclerc was just a passenger. Just could not avoid contact. So that will have to be investigated after the race. Same with the one with Dixon. And there he is. I wonder who clipped behind him as he's gone for a spin down at Copse. So down at Maggot. So let's see what on earth happened to Scott Dixon. Whereabouts is he on the track? And I'm struggling to find him at this stage. Whereabouts was he? There he is. And who clipped him there? It looked like Vern might have clipped him on the inside. So we'll have one more look at the replay. It's going to take a while to suss this one out. There's a lot of stuff happened down at Maggots. And coming out of Copse Corner now, then we go. And so now let's see then as Vern, let's see the contact between him and Dixon now then And yeah, it was. It just seemed he didn't see Dixon, and Dixon ended up spinning round at Maggots. So that will have to be investigated for sure, that incident, as we continue going. Alonso, meantime, leading the race, as meantime Verstappen's got a load of cars feeding at him at the moment. Hülkenberg had a look at Hanger Straight, didn't quite work out. Hamilton trying to get back at him into Stowe Corner now then, as Hamilton retook the place of Hülkenberg. He has back up to third place. Goes Lewis Hamilton, leaving Alonso to pull away out in front at this stage now then. And, well, that's that really. As Verstappen now having to hold off the championship leader and Hülkenberg. In fact, a huge train of cars. Grosjean having to fend off from Räikkönen as they all come around Club Corner now then. And, well, not been a good start from Wehrlein. He's now outside the top 10 as Perez is going to have to make a trip to the pits for a new front wing. And Dixon looking to not sustain some damage, but still, that's cost his race, that's for sure. Meantime, back to this early battle for second place between Verstappen, Hamilton and Hülkenberg now then, as they come up towards Brooklands now then on the track. As now they come up towards Luffield 1 and 2 on the track. And so now going around the second part of Luffield. As coming around Woodcote, Alonso sets the early fastest lap, so at the end of lap 1 of 59 here, Alonso leads Verstappen second, Hamilton third, but he might not be for too long because Hamilton's having a look at Verstappen down into Copse Corner, but Verstappen covers him off into Copse, and now Hülkenberg tries to run back at him if he can. So Alonso, Verstappen, Hamilton, Hülkenberg, Grosjean, Räikkönen, Vettel, and Ocon out of the top 8, as Ocon had a little go at Vettel there into Maggots, isn't quite able to make the move stick as they come around down the Hanger Straight. We'll have a look at the fuel loads in a little bit as Alonso continues to pull away. This is not what Hamilton wants. Hamilton looking to the outside, not very wise from Hamilton. Verstappen comes him off and Hülkenberg takes full advantage again. Hülkenberg takes third. Will he get Verstappen at the same time? Down to Stowe Corner. It'd be a brilliant move if Hülkenberg was able to pull this one off. Through Stowe Corner now, but Verstappen able to fend him off. Grosjean now trying to close up. Hülkenberg now trying to dive it down the inside of the Vale. Verstappen closing the door into Vale there then. And, wow, battling going on now then for second place, it must be said. And we'll quickly then have a look at the fuel loads. 19.1 for Alonso, 39.2. So Verstappen running quite heavy. 22.2, 27.2, 32, 30.2, 29.2, 37.1, 20.2, 39.1, 33.2, 39.1. Looks like Perez is still yet to get into the pitch, yeah. 18.2, 37.1, 38.1, 38.1, 19.1, 37.1, 29.1, 21, 20.1, 28, 35.2, and Perez finally rejoined with a fresh tank, 39.8 seconds, but luckily for him, not a lap down, but he nearly is, as Fernando starts lap 3 now, of 59 in this race, as we look back at this battle for second place between Verstappen, Hülkenberg, and of course, Hamilton. Looks like Alonso is running very light in this race, it must be said, as he looks to try and end his retirement jinx here at Silverstone this weekend, and he's continuing to pull away out in front. Confirmation that Perez had been in a little earlier. But meantime, back to this battle for second place. Verstappen running a very heavy fuel load, it must be said, going around Chapel. Now coming down the Hanger Straight. Will Hülkenberg get him this time around? Again, looking to the outside. Again, that's not very wise. Will Hamilton take advantage? And he's going to look to the inside on Hülkenberg. But Hülkenberg able to stay in switching, but Hamilton breaking that a little bit later than what Hülkenberg did. Round Stowe Corner, and Hamilton back up into third place as a result. Can he possibly try and get Verstappen into Vale now then? He's got a lot of momentum. He's going to try and dive it down the inside into Vale now then. But Verstappen able to hang it around the outside, keeping on the second place at the moment. And he's bringing in more cars in that scrap for second place at this stage of the race as they come around Club Corner, and they'll soon approach Abbey now then, as they go flat through this left-hander before going downhill towards Bridge now then. Hamilton looks to try and get a run on Verstappen into Priory now then. Let's see if he's able to pull this one off. He doesn't try and dive it as they all stay single file down into Priory Corner now then. As meantime, Hartley trying to defend from Giovinazzi, as Bottas defending from Wehrlein at this stage of the race. It seems to be a split strategy between the whole field. It seems some going for 1 stop, some going for 2 stops. Alonso continuing to lead the way out in front, as meantime his teammate still stuck behind Max Verstappen, but can he possibly get him down to Copse this time? He's got to run round Woodcote. Alonso setting another fastest lap of the race now then, as he tucks up into the slipstream, looking to the inside. Will Hamilton get the move done this time around? Down the inside to Copse, and again Verstappen fends him off. Coming into this race, the gap between Hamilton and Alonso was actually 18 points. I said 13 yesterday. I do apologise. It's actually 18 points between. Alonso looking to try and reduce that gap today if he can. As they come around the section of corners, he's now down the Hanger Straight. As there they go around Beckett's now, then will Hamilton try and get a run on Verstappen coming out of Chapel now, and he tucks up in the slipstream, looking to the outside again, not very wise from Hamilton. Hülkenberg taking advantage of that to get up into third place when you try and outbrake Verstappen into Stoke corner again. Verstappen doing a good job keeping these guys back, effectively holding his own version of the Truly train, it seems, as Hülkenberg gets back at him there. Then Verstappen, as Hülkenberg tries to do the dummy down into Vale, but Verstappen shuts the door through into Vale there. Hamilton trying to take advantage if he can round club corner, but Hülkenberg having none of it there as they go around the right-hander as Grosjean and Räikkönen start to close in. Ocon's still struggling to find a way through on Vettel at this stage now. Then Vettel probably running very heavy, it must be said, and he is. He's running a similar strategy to what Verstappen is in front in the Martini in second place, who's definitely holding up a train, allowing Alonso to get away in this race now. Then thanks to his light fuel load, I think he's running the lightest of the lot, it must be said, as they go around Luffield 2, and Alonso around Woodcote he goes. And so now down the pit straight, Alonso with another fastest lap of 1 minute 19.717 as he continues to get away from this lot who was still stuck behind Max Verstappen's Martini as they now go up towards Copse Corner now. Then will Hülkenberg try and get the move done this time around now then, as he now looks to the inside into Maggots. Will Hülkenberg pull this one off? And again Verstappen shutting the door. On lap 5 now then of 59 as these three still grouped together round this right-hander, and I wonder if Hülkenberg will try and do the same thing early. He gets a run on Verstappen again, looks to the outside, not very wise from Hülkenberg. Will Hamilton take full advantage again? And he does so. Up to third place again goes Lewis Hamilton. These two keep trading places rather than them trying to get Verstappen in front at this stage now. Then up towards Vale. Will Hamilton try and dive it down the inside? He's now going to try and do the dummy into Vale, which is what Hülkenberg tried to do earlier, but again, same result. Verstappen able to fend them off, and well, this is that really. I bet there's frustration both at Etihad and EMR over Verstappen holding him up at this stage. He's definitely got the slower car of all of them, especially with the heavy fuel load not helping him out. Going down through Bridge Corner, will Hamilton try and dive it down to Priory? Will Hamilton try and get the move done into there? And he doesn't think about it, so he's single file through into Priory Corner now then. They'll now go into Brooklands, and well, it's soon going to form into a train of cars pretty soon if we're not careful. Through in towards Luffield A, and now up towards Luffield B we will go as they come out of the corner now, then up towards Woodcote. And now coming around that corner, Hülkenberg might be dropping back a bit, it seems, as now Hamilton gets a run on Verstappen down to Copse Corner. Will Hamilton pull it off this time? Down to Copse, will he try and break that a little bit later than Verstappen? Again, Verstappen just holds it round the outside to keep on the second place for the moment, as Hülkenberg feeds back in. Hamilton again looking to the inside into Maggots. Isn't going to quite make that work out. Verstappen still holding him up at this stage. Grosjean and Räikkönen have not been able to close up as much as they would want to at this stage of the race as they go around Chapel now then down the hanger straight. Will Hamilton get him this time again? Chooses the outside. Hülkenberg going to the inside, and that's that really. Verstappen trying to shut the door on Hülkenberg and pretty much parking the bus around Stoke Corner. Hülkenberg retakes third, and I feel that's going to be a trend throughout the remainder of these laps unless somebody can get past Verstappen until the first round of pits off. Hülkenberg down the inside into Vale Corner again. Oh, contact between Verstappen and Hülkenberg. Verstappen's been punted round at Vale Corner there then. Something similar happened last season. I don't know who it was. And, well, Verstappen there trying to rejoin, but then realised there was a lot of traffic. Has to wait for everybody to get going. And, well, that's that really as far as they are concerned. And, well, what can you say about that then, really? Verstappen able to get it going, but it's possibly cost himself a podium. That incident will have to be investigated for sure. And, well, that's that really. Now, the Vettel's down to 20th. What's going on there? And has he made a mistake possibly down at... well, in fact, he's just rejoined now, actually. That looks like he's just come out slow. He must have spun possibly at Stowe, so he's very lucky to avoid a wall there. And, well, Vettel again running into bad luck, it seems, as his teammate gets involved in the walls, it appears, making contact with Max Verstappen. So that incident will have to be investigated after the race, along with the two other incidents in this race, one between Dixon and Verne and the other between Perez and Leclerc. So meantime now, Alonso with quite a big lead now as a result of that contact down at Vale. And well, I bet Cameron is not very happy. I bet he's walking over to EMR right now and possibly going to be having some nasty words with him, it must be said, as they come down the hangar straight. Hamilton obviously got a little bit affected. It seems he's dropped back a little bit as a result, as he now tries to close back in to Nico Hülkenberg as they go through Chapel. And down the hangar straight we will go. Meantime, Räikkönen, unseen by the cameras, has passed Grosjean, so he's up into 4th place. As a result, as now Ocon tries a lunge, but isn't able to make the move stick. Grosjean just fending him off that time around, as Ocon just goes around the right-hander now then on the track. So look at the lead Alonso has. Alonso's already gone around Abbey, and only Hülkenberg's just approaching Vale, where he hit off Verstappen a little bit earlier in the race. So as mentioned, that will be investigated for sure. Alonso through in towards Priory into Brooklands. He's soon coming up towards Perez to potentially lap him. And well, that's that really. Through into Lovefield A, and then approaching Lovefield B we will go, as Alonso will approach Woodcote, as he will now start lap 8 of 59. In terms of when the two stoppers make their first stops, I expect it to come possibly around about lap 19 to 26 perhaps. So that's when we'll see the first round of stops getting underway, as Alonso continues to build the lead out in front as he looks to try and hunt down Hamilton and regain all the time he's lost in the Drivers' Championship to his teammate. So Hamilton's not really closing up onto Hülkenberg as much as he would want to. The gap between 2nd and 3rd is 1.6 seconds. So that's how that stands at this stage. Meantime, Ocon currently in the points at the moment, right on the prowl of Romain Grosjean, going around Maggots and then into Beckett's we will go. And then approaching Chapel. Now then, as they just go around these section of corners, through Chapel, down the hangar straight, will Ocon get the move done on Grosjean this time around. He tucks up into the switching again, looks to the outside, not very wise Ocon. And his fellow compatriot fends him off. As a result, as out goes Ollie Rowland. Ollie Rowland out of the race. What's happened to Rowland? Whereabouts is he on the track? And there he is. He's crashed down at Copse. So something similar to Lucas Jura earlier on. Rowland has crashed down at Copse corner. And, well, very interested to see how that worked out. It looks like he spun in the same way as Ocon did. Whacked it into the wall and just ploughed back onto the track. Well, Oliver Rowland, in front of his home fans, is out of the race, and we're down to, I believe, 21 runners. I think it's the first retirement of the day. Yes, he is, down to 21 runners in this race now. Then Rowland crashing out of the Grand Prix, as Ocon now then tries to get a run on Grosjean into Vale, and isn't close enough to make a move into Vale that time around now then, as Alonso getting close to that bit of traffic. Hamilton trying to close in onto Hülkenberg if he can, as they go up through Abbey. Meantime, Ocon trying everything he can to get hold of Grosjean for 5th place through Abbey now then, down towards Bridge Corner. They'll soon come as he gets in the slipstream with Grosjean, and Grosjean shutting the door through Bridge Corner before approaching Priory now then. In towards the left goes Esteban Ocon as he looks to try and get some more points in this race after picking up what was eventually 7th place in Belgium. Alonso still leading the way at the moment as he just goes through Maggots and Beckett, soon approaching that bit of traffic in the form of Sergio Perez after he had to pit to repair a front wing after the contact at the beginning of the race with Charles Leclerc. So that was that really, and so going down the hangar straight now then towards Stowe Corner. Meantime, Romain Grosjean meantime having to fend off from Esteban Ocon to go around Maggots and Beckett's now then on the track, through towards the section of corners on the track, as meantime the other Bud Light line, Giovinazzi, is trying to find a way through on Brendan Hartley's monster car as they come down the hangar straight. As you can see all the cars in the background zooming in towards Beckett's now then, as Ocon had a go to Grosjean but wasn't able to pull the move off, as Giovinazzi looks to the inside of Hartley. Will he try and break that little bit later into the corner now then? Sorry about that, my door knocked and it set the dog off on a barking tangent. So anyway, meantime, Ocon had a go there at Grosjean into Abbey. Wasn't able to pull off the move into that corner as they go up towards Woodcote. And now up towards, down the pit straight we go before approaching Copse Corner now then. And using quite a bit of curb on the outside before approaching Maggots and Beckett's. And so now in towards these section of corners now then on the track. Through the second part and then through Chapel as Alonso gets close to that bit of traffic in front. Here comes Ocon now then, just swirling around Woodcote as he will now approach Copse Corner on the track. As around at the right hander he goes, as he uses quite a bit of curb on the outside there then. And so in towards Maggots, as you can see. Ocon tried to have a look again, but again Grosjean just shutting the door through into that part. And so that's that then really, as Ocon tries to get a run on Grosjean down the hanger straight. As going down the straight there, again Ocon struggling to find a way through, same with Gio on Hartley at this stage of the race as he just coming around these section of corners. Verstappen making his way up through the field, he's past Jones and now Vettel's actually getting close to the battles. Alonso's made a mistake coming out of club corner, he still keeps the lead, but Alonso has made a mistake. It looks like maybe Perez might have got involved in the way. We'll have to have a look on board to see if we can just catch a glimpse of the beginning of that, but Alonso's still in the lead, but now Hülkenberg and Hamilton have closed up, and well, a bit of a scare there for Alonso, must be said. I don't know if he hit Perez through into club corner there. So we'll have a look and see what have happened. And we didn't quite see it, so whether he did make contact with Perez, I'm not sure, because that is really a rare place for somebody to make a mistake. And, well, Alonso, luckily still in the lead, but now Hülkenberg and Hamilton have closed up a bit. And, well, that's that really. I think Etihad's hearts were in their mouth for that point. Alonso still leads, but now Hülkenberg and Hamilton have closed up a tad. So now they go through Bridge Corner now then on the track. And so Hülkenberg looks to try and go into attack mode to try and get Fernando in front. That won't do his tyres any good, that's for sure. As he now goes around Brooklands before approaching Luffield A and B on the track. And Hamilton looks to try and close in as well. Ocon still struggling to find a way through. Giovinazzi still struggling to find a way on Hartley. And now it's got to the point where Wehrlein has now started to close up on this battle for P7 as he looks to try and get some points for AMP. As he goes around Brooklands now then up towards Luffield 1 and 2 we will go. As Wehrlein flicks the car in through the second part he goes. As he tries to get close to the curb before approaching Woodcote. And that's that really as he goes down the pit straight. And now up towards Copse Corner we go. As he tries to get on terms with him at the moment. Ocon trying to have a go at Grosjean there. Grosjean just shutting the door at that point. Alonso starting to get his foot down again and maybe starting to get away again from Nico Hülkenberg. As he just goes through Stowe Corner now then. Around that part of the corner now then we go before approaching Vale and Club. And so around the left, then the right we go. As Alonso currently leads this race. We're currently on lap 11 of 59 in this British Grand Prix. And so that's that really as Alonso goes up towards the quick left-hander at Abbey before heading downhill towards Bridge Corner. And so sparks continue to fly out the back of Alonso's car. Round the left-hander goes the defending champion. And that's that really. And that's that. Sorry about that, it seems to be a knocking barrage on my door it seems. So here comes Alonso through towards Copse Corner. As sparks continue to fly off the back of his car now then. Through into Maggot and Beckett's now then. And now through into Chapel. And now down the hanger straight. Alonso trying to stretch away a little bit more on Nico Hülkenberg. Ocon still stuck behind Romain Grosjean at this stage as they go through Beckett. I think that's where, as you can see the time on there, I think that's probably where Vettel made his mistake a little earlier on. And meantime, Gio trying to see if he could try and find a way through on Hartley, but he's got Wehrlein to worry about more as they go down the hanger straight. And all of them keeping single file down into Stowe Corner. Hartley goes defensive. Giovinazzi looking for a way around the outside. And no chance there. I don't know why Wehrlein didn't try and move down the inside. He probably thought that he might clatter the back of Hartley in case he went for a defensive move. But I'm a bit surprised that Wehrlein didn't try and do something there on Giovinazzi. So that's that really as far as that's concerned. Hülkenberg not really closing up onto Alonso. as much as he would want to at this stage as they go through Priory and Brooklands. Hamilton looks like he's starting to close in quite a bit again now onto Nico as they now go up towards Luffield A and B on the track. Flicking the car in through the double right-hander now then on the track as they go around Woodcote before heading down the pit straight now then up towards Copse Corner. And Hamilton, sparks continuing to fly out the back of his car now then before approaching Maggots and Beckett. And so that's that really as far as he's concerned. And we'll have a look probably on the next lap to see what the gap is like between him and Nico at this stage of the Grand Prix. Ocon again having a look at Grosjean for 5th place, but again not close enough to make the move that time around. So they'll once again come down the hanger straight through Chapel. Down the hanger straight, will Ocon try and move on Grosjean as he looks to the outside through the hanger straight, and again Grosjean covers him off. We're getting close now to the 5 o'clock mark, so 3 minutes away from that. Through Stowe Corner, and Ocon trying to see what he can do again as Wehrlein takes 8 from Giovinazzi down the straight, so up to P8 goes Pascal Wehrlein, and now he's trying to attack Hartley for P7, so Giovinazzi finding himself outside the points as Ocon tries to attack Grosjean again in front. Here is Alonso through Priory and then approaching Brooklands. Through the left-hander he goes before approaching the final few corners at Luffield, and then up towards Woodcote they will go. Through the first part then goes Alonso, then into the second, and now he will approach Woodcote now then. And so around Woodcote goes Alonso, as I want to have a look and see what the gap is like between Hülkenberg and Hamilton. Alonso now on lap 14 of 59 at this British Grand Prix. As they go around Copse Corner now then, as it's 2 seconds the gap is at this stage, so 2 seconds between Hülkenberg and Hamilton. So we'll check back on that a little later. As meantime coming out of Copse Corner now then goes Ocon as he tries to get the run on Grosjean again, through into Maggots, and then they'll approach Beckett. Will Ocon try and get him down the hanger straight this time around? Goes through the second part, round Chapel, before heading down the hanger straight. So Räikkönen continues to get away from that. Ocon now in the slipstream of Romain Grosjean. Will he try and punch a move down into Stowe Corner? And it doesn't look like Ocon is close enough to make a move on Grosjean. That time around, Grosjean keeping him back for the time being now then. As meantime, Wehrlein wasn't even close enough to get Hartley for 7th place at this stage. So that's that really. As Ricciardo tries to have a look at Bottas, but Bottas fending him off at this stage. Eldorado clearly not suited to this track as Verstappen and Vettel continue to make their way up through the field. As Verne and Sainz are in tenterhooks for 14th place. As Van Dorn is now down to 20th, so he must have made a mistake. He's now down in 20th position. So that's that for him really. As meantime, here's Alonso as they'll soon start lap 15 of 59 in this British Grand Prix. As Alonso goes around Copse Corner now then for the 15th time today. And we'll soon be getting close to the first round of pit stops to get on the way in around 4 laps time. And Alonso just flicking the car in through Maggots and Beckett. And so now he'll go down through Chapel. As I didn't see what the gap was like between Hamilton and Hülkenberg that time around, did I? I do apologise. I will try and check next time around, because the last time we checked the gap was around 2 seconds between Hülkenberg and Hamilton before approaching the right-hander at Stowe Corner. And Hamilton really trying his best to get the move done, as now Ocon looking to the outside of Romain Grosjean as he comes around Stowe Corner now on the track, and through in towards these next section of corners we go. And now in towards Vale now then, Ocon diving it down the inside of Grosjean, but Grosjean just able to hang it around the outside through into Vale, and keeps all the 5th place for the moment in this race. As meantime Hartley, Wehrlein and Giovinazzi still into combat for 7th place for 2 championship points. Hartley trying to fend them off at this stage. Wehrlein right in the slipstream now of Hartley, trying to look to the outside. Hartley just fends him off now and as they go around Abbey, heading down towards Bridge Corner now then on the track. And so through the right-hander now then before approaching Priory. Wehrlein will try and dive it down the inside, but it was just a little bit too far back, and that might put him into clutches of Giovinazzi again. as they go around Brooklands now then on the track. And that's that really as far as they're concerned. Alonso through Beckett and then into Chapel before heading down towards the Hangar Straight. And so that's that. Hülkenberg continues to lose time, and I forgot again to look at the gap between those two. Ocon again still trying to attack Grosjean for P5. It might have to come down to the pit stops at this stage if they're not careful. Grosjean running quite heavy, so Ocon looking to pit around about 9 laps before his fellow compatriot does. But anyway, down the Hangar Straight again, Ocon opted to go to the outside. Not smart, and keeping hold of 5th will be Romain Grosjean. Heading down the Hangar Straight again, Wehrlein looking to the outside. Gio will look to try and pounce if he can. Hartley fends him off there, heading down towards Stoke Corner, and Hartley keeps hold of 7th place for the moment as they just will their way round Stowe now then, round the left-hander before approaching Vale and Club. And so now just going around the section of corners, we will now go on the track, flew into Club Corner. And so that's that really as far as he's concerned, as they'll now go up towards Abbey. And he's now going to look to the outside again. Hartley covers him off through into there. As in the meantime, Grosjean goes defensive because Ocon's putting him under a lot of pressure. Grosjean fends off the 5th place for the moment in this race now then, as these two continue to scrap it out. Lots of defending going on in this battle for 7th place between Hartley, Wehrlein and Giovinazzi, as they all feed their way around Brooklands now then on the track. Through Woodcote, will Ocon try and get the move done on Romain Grosjean before approaching Copse Corner? And Ocon not close enough that time around as they come out of Copse before approaching Maggots and Beckett. And so through in towards the section of corners we will now go. Through into Beckett's. And now we will approach Chapel. And so into Chapel we will go. Will Ocon try and get Grosjean this time around now then? Looks to the outside. And Grosjean again fending him off down the Hangar Straight in this battle for 7th place between this lot. Wehrlein again opting to go to the outside. Will Gio take advantage as Wehrlein has to back out, but then flicks it to the inside. Will Wehrlein try and dive it down the inside into Stowe Corner? But again, Hartley just closing the door into that right-hander to keep hold of 7th place in this race now then. As we'll soon be coming up towards the first round of stops here at Silverstone. Round Lovefield 1 goes Fernando Alonso. Then at round Lovefield 2 before approaching Woodcote as he comes up to that bit of traffic again, which we don't know if he actually hit, which caused him to make that mistake down at, which caused him to go off at Club. But that's that. Is now coming out of Copse Corner. We'll go at Fernando Alonso. As that's that really. What's the gap this time then between Hülkenberg and Hamilton? For the last time we checked, Hamilton has only taken a 10th out of Hülkenberg, so it's down to 1.9 seconds between Hülkenberg and Hamilton. Alonso continuing to pull away from Hülkenberg at this stage as they just feed their way around Chapel. As Ocon not close enough to get Grosjean into Copse Corner now then, as the pair of them continue to fight it out for 5th place in this Grand Prix. Into Maggots now then, and they'll soon approach Beckett. Through the left and then in towards the right hand, there we go, and then they'll head down through Chapel before heading down the Hangar Straight. Will Ocon get Grosjean this time around? He gets into the slipstream of his fellow compatriot. Grosjean look to try and go defensive. Ocon trying to get enough momentum if he can. Is there a gap down the inside? No, Grosjean just shuts it off and again holds on to 5th, so this battle might have to come down to the pit stops in this Grand Prix, and we'll see if Alonso has actually got to make a pit stop next lap for his first scheduled stop for fuel and tyres. We're into Brooklands now then. We'll go Fernando Alonso before approaches Lovefield 1 and 2. Through into the final few corners on the track, then we go. As he rounds the final corner, let's see if Alonso has to pit at the end of lap 19 of 59, which will be 41 laps to go, and he does. Alonso is pitting at the end of this lap for his first of 2 scheduled stops, so he'll be the first of the leaders to make a pit stop, as the pit stop stages are now underway in this British Grand Prix, as Alonso puts a lap there on Sergio Perez round Maggots. As now he just feeds the car in through the section of corners, now down through Chapel. We'll go Fernando Alonso as he heads down the Hangar Straight, as it's still 1.9 between Hamilton and Hülkenberg. So that's that really. Look how close to the gearbox there Ocon was on Grosjean coming down the pit straight. As he now looks to the inside into Maggots, will he get the move done? Again, Grosjean turning in holding on to the place as they go around this section of corners. As Wehrlein is in now then for his scheduled stop. We'll try and get to him in a little bit. Let's see if Ocon will pull a pass on Grosjean down the hanger straight. Down the hanger straight we go, and no, he isn't able to pull it off. Let's see where Wehrlein is as he's in pits. There he is for his first of 2 scheduled stops, so he should be pitting. He's got 21.9 litres in the car. We should see him possibly pitting around about lap 38, so that's when we'll probably see the second round of stops getting on the way, maybe even for the one-stoppers to make their mark in terms of the pit stops. As flicking off the pit limiter then goes Pascal Wehrlein, as now coming out of pit lane as Wehrlein rejoins in 20th. Sorry about that, as he rejoins in 20th, last place effectively behind teammate, well no, second to last in fact, behind teammate Van Dorn. Is into the pits, comes race leader Fernando Alonso for his first of 2 scheduled stops. 18.9 litres he's now in the car, and let's see where he's going to rejoin in after the stop. It's a 10.7 second stop for Fernando as he goes trundling down pit lane. Where is Nando going to rejoin? And he'll soon flick off the pit limiter, and let's see then where Fernando is going to rejoin. Just pulls right, and out of the pit lane then goes Fernando Alonso, and he rejoins in 6th position in front of Hartley, and with some clear track in front, providing he doesn't catch up to that battle between Grosjean and Ocon. Coming out of Chapel now, then Ocon in the slipstream again, choosing the outside, probably not wise again, and Grosjean fends off. Daniel Ricciardo into the pits for GLM for his first of 2 scheduled stops of the afternoon, as Fernando looks to try and get his first win since Spain. As through bridge goes Hülkenberg, he's staying out for another lap, and Hamilton for about a few more laps. Anybody pitting at the end of this lap? Yes, Ocon is pitting at the end of this lap as he looks to try and leapfrog Grosjean once he makes his stop eventually. I don't know if Grosjean's actually on the one stop, considering how much fuel he's got in the tank. As they both come around Abbey Corner now, then down towards Bridge, and Ocon not close enough. Would he possibly try and dive it down the inside to Priory before he makes his pit stop? And no, he's going to stay single file behind Grosjean into Priory, and then he'll approach Brooklands now then on the track, flicking the car in before approaching Lovefield A and B on the track. Into the corners now then we go before approaching Woodcote. We'll be seeing Ocon peel right into the pits, which he does. So into the pits comes Esteban Ocon from temporary 5th place. Effectively he's in a battle for 5th as well with Romain Grosjean, but we don't know if he's got to make a one stop judging by his fuel load he's got in the tank. So the Martini mechanics get ready for Esteban Ocon. Through goes Alonso, and they'll put on a fresh set of tyres and fuel for the Frenchman. Let's see where this pit stop is going to bring him out, as they a clean wipe of the visor. And where is Ocon going to rejoin then? And let's see now then, it's an 11.8 second stop for Ocon. Let's see where he's going to rejoin. I'll have a look quickly a little bit, as they're the front two. Ocon decided to stay out a little bit more, and so that's that then really. Now a lot of people were talking about this yellow bar last week in Belgium. Like I said, don't worry about it. I've seen it with several teams before. It's just the way each car is set up on the grid, to the point where sometimes the splitter sometimes scrapes the floor. That yellow bit is actually indicating the splitter, so that's that really. And well, it is. So well, what is it? So now coming around Woodcote now then, Verne finishes his pit stop. So there's Ocon currently leading. In fact, sorry, Hülkenberg. Sorry, as Hülkenberg is coming into the pits at the end of this lap. And that's that really. Where did Ocon rejoin after his pit stop? That's what I want to know. He rejoined in 13th with some clear track in front. Rejoined just in front of Ed Jones, who is busy fending off from Ocon's teammate Max Verstappen after he had contact with Hülkenberg earlier on in the race, as Fernando sets the fastest lap again, a 1 minute 19.687 for the 3-time champion, as he continues to try and see if he can win this British Grand Prix. Looked like Hamilton had a flick on the curb there through into Stowe Corner, so that's that for him. Alonso through into Beckett's he goes before rounding Chapel, and so now heading down the hanger straight, as Hülkenberg now then going around Abbey before heading down the hill towards Bridge Corner now then on the track. And so now approaching Stowe now then. Sorry, going towards Priory as Hülkenberg puts a lap on Sergio Perez. But Hülkenberg is pitting at the end of this lap for his first of possibly 2 scheduled stops as he comes up towards Luffield A and B on the track. Hamilton staying out for a few more laps before he makes his pit stop round Luffield 2. And into the pits then comes Nico Hülkenberg from the temporary lead of the Grand Prix, handing the lead temporarily to Lewis Hamilton as he's going to be staying out for a few more laps before he makes his pit stop. And let's see where Hülkenberg is going to be joining after this pit stop as we're now on lap 23 of 59 in this British Grand Prix. And let's see where Hülkenberg is going to be joining. A wiper the visor, a change of tyres, and let's see where where Hülkenberg is going to be joining then after the stop. And so that's that really. There's Alonso going through again. Hülkenberg was nowhere near him anyway. During the pit stop, Hülkenberg will soon flick off the pit limiter as he comes out of the pit lane. So Hülkenberg rejoins in 5th position, and that's that for him really. As Hartley finished his pit stop, and he's still in front of Giovinazzi at this stage. It looks like Wehrlein got leapfrogged massively there, so he's lost a heap of time in the pits. And well, that's that really. Unless those two are actually on the one stop, I can't quite remember, but I would probably think that actually. I think those two are actually on the one stop, so those two still yet to make a stop in this Grand Prix. Meantime, Giovinazzi looked to the inside of Hartley, didn't quite make the move stick. As a result, Hamilton temporarily leading the race, but around about 3 laps time, we should be seeing him pitting for his first of 2 scheduled stops as he goes around Priory, and then he'll approach Brooklands now then. As it looks like maybe the victory could be out of reach for Lewis Hamilton, but the 1-2 still looks to be on the cards for Etihad this weekend. As going through the right hander goes Lewis Hamilton as he now rounds Woodcote. And now he'll head down the pit straight. The sparks coming off the back of Hamilton's car as he now comes up towards Cobb's Corner now then. And so that's that really as he just comes out of the exit. Meantime, Alonso not wasting any time whatsoever on Grosjean, who's still yet to stop. Coming out of turn 1 now then into Cobb's Corner. Will Alonso pull the move off? No, Grosjean shutting the door on him there into Cobb's. And well, Grosjean not letting him go. This might cost Alonso a bit of time, in fact, to Hamilton if he's not careful. Hamilton not pitting for the next few laps unless Alonso could get through him pretty quickly down onto the hangar straight. We will see now. That is, oh, who's that? That's Vettel again. Vettel off at the exit of Beckett. It looks like he might have beached the car this time because he's not moving. And is this race over for Sebastian Vettel in the EMR? And well, he's a lap down now anyway, and this could be race over for the German to end a frustrating British Grand Prix for him. Again, collecting no points in this Grand Prix. And well, that will be that then really for Sebastian Vettel. Is this race over for the German? And well, that's that then really. And like I said, could be race over now then for Sebastian Vettel. There's a gap there, but he's not moving, and it looks like Vettel has now definitely beached the car, and that looks to be race over for Sebastian Vettel in this British Grand Prix. And well, that's that really as far as they're concerned. We'll see if a marshal turns up on the behind the EMR. So a few more cars go around Beckett's now then, and well, this could be race over now then for Sebastian Vettel. There is Hamilton again putting another lap on Sebastian, and well, that's that really. And well, surely he should call it a day now. He's definitely beached the car. As in fact, is that no? That's in fact Alonso still stuck behind Grosjean at this stage of the Grand Prix. And there's Hülkenberg, Vettel's teammate, and he might as well just give up now. To be honest with you, Vettel being stuck here is not doing him any favours at all in this Grand Prix. And well, that's really. Still no marshal has come out yet to retrieve the EMR from the gravel. And well, that's that then really, as they came out of Beckett's now then. And Vettel surely has to be done. Surely a marshal is going to take care of him very soon. We'll get back to the battle because I don't think Vettel's going to be moving from there anytime soon. Magnussen in the points. I don't know if he's yet to make a pit stop. Alonso still being held up by Romain Grosjean. Grosjean doesn't really care if he's not in a race with him. He still wants to try and make sure this fuel load works with no distractions basically. Hamilton staying out for at least another 1 or 2 laps before he makes his first of 2 stops, as he will now approach Maggots and Beckett's now then. And through into these section of corners now then we go. As Vettel has been cleared. Sebastian Vettel is out of the Grand Prix. And I think he's out anyway. Or is he actually rejoined, in fact? Vettel, because it still says 21 cars. Yeah, Vettel has rejoined, surprisingly. So I wonder if he's just trying to get runs in now for the car. I don't know why he bothered rejoining, because effectively it's race over for Vettel. And, well, there we are then, really. AI physics for you, really, as Hamilton goes around Vale and Club. And so now around the right-hander he will go, as Hamilton will approach Abbey. And the sparks continue to fly out the back of the Etihad at this stage of the Grand Prix. Räikkönen currently second, but he's still yet to make a pit stop, same as Hamilton in front. And Grosjean still has to make a pit stop. He's still holding up Alonso. This could allow Hülkenberg to close up a little bit onto the Spaniard. Grosjean fending him off again through into Abbey. Let's see if Hamilton is going to be pitting at the end of next lap then, as he just comes around the final few corners on the track. You just saw Alonso there, still stuck behind Grosjean's Bud Light Lime, heading down towards Priory. Through Woodcote now then, and let's see, is he pitting at the end of this lap? Yes, he is. At the end of lap 27, Lewis Hamilton is pitting for his first of 2 scheduled stops, as he goes around Copse Corner now then, feeding the car in through that section of the course. As sorry for the little drop of frames there. As now through towards Beckett we will go, as he now heads down through Chapel before heading down the Hangar Straight, and soon coming up to a bit more traffic, but we will be expecting him to come back, coming into the pits anyway, as Alonso has a go at Grosjean into the first part of Maggots, but again isn't able to pull that one off. Through into Beckett, and then down through Chapel will go the 3-time champion, as he heads down the Hangar Straight up towards Stowe. Again looking to the outside, not very wise from Alonso, and Grosjean keeping all of the place for the moment, as they now come up towards Stowe Corner on the track. This could allow Hülkenberg to get up close now to them as a result. Oh no, he spun! Hülkenberg has spun at the exit of Stowe Corner, and if he can keep the engine running, he could keep his places, but he's gone for a bit more of a spin now around that corner, and Ian Moore's bad luck continues here at Silverstone. Hülkenberg has dropped it out of Stowe. And, well, that's that then, really. It will definitely now be an Etihad 1-2, as that's that, really, as far as they are concerned. As everybody's just having to go single file now then. As into the pits comes Jean-Eric Verne with a throttle problem. So Verne's got a problem. It's throttle, that's the issue, as Hamilton pits for his first of 2 scheduled stops now then. And in fact, is he fueled to the end of the race? Let's work that out in my head, actually. 38, 48, 50. Yeah, he's actually fueled to the end of the race, so it's only a 1 stop for Lewis Hamilton. It seems that Etihad has split their strategy between the 2 drivers. Alonso going to the 2 stop, Hamilton the 1 stop, a 16.1 second stop for Lewis Hamilton. Let's see where he's going to rejoin in after the stop. Alonso still getting held up, as he's now way in front of everybody else, now that Hülkenberg has gone from his pictures. As Hülkenberg's still there, in fact I think he's stuck, and that could be race over for Hülkenberg. Räikkönen temporarily takes the lead, as Hülkenberg is now a lap down, and still struggling to get the car moving. Is this race over now then for Nico Hülkenberg, as a lot of them head down the Hangar Straight, as Hülkenberg still struggling to get it moving. And surely this has got to be race over soon for Nico Hülkenberg, as EMR lead this weekend. Absolutely furious. And, well, it doesn't help when Hülkenberg's got an investigation hanging over him as well for the incident with Max Verstappen. So, that's that, really, as Hülkenberg tries to get the car moving. But I think he's stuck, and I think that's going to be race over for the German. In fact, he's actually found reverse gear. In fact, it took him a while. But again, having to wait around because some more cars are going by. And surely he should just give up at this point. EMR look like they're not going to be scoring any points today here at Silverstone. And that will mean the likes of possibly Eldorado and even Bud Light Lime and even SuomI will catch up in the Constructors' Championship in their battle for second. So Hülkenberg now then spinning off at the exit start, and there you have it, race over. The marshal has pulled him off. Nico Hülkenberg is out of the British Grand Prix, and we're now down to, I believe, 19 runners in this Grand Prix. Hülkenberg calling it a day, and that's that really. Räikkönen staying out, but he's pitting at the end of this lap, so he should hand the lead to these two. But Grosjean is going to be pitting possibly a lap after Räikkönen anyway, so Alonso will be finally free, but he's got to anyway, got to get a move on, because Hamilton is on the one stop. He's got 33.5 litres, although it would be quite heavy for him initially, because he's right behind Giovinazzi and Hartley after the pit stop. He should be able to burn that out as the race progresses. As he looks to try and get a second consecutive home victory here at Silverstone, because that's possibly the only chance he's got at trying to get Alonso in this British Grand Prix. Meantime, Räikkönen just coming around the second part of left field as he now pits for his one and only stop, I would presume, with 31 laps remaining in this Grand Prix, as he will start lap 30 of 59. That'll be 30 laps now left of the Grand Prix. Räikkönen into his box as he puts on a fresh set of tyres and fuel. Grosjean and Alonso take the lead temporarily, as Alonso coming up to Grosjean. Grosjean's getting held up by traffic, but got covered off there as Grosjean found a gap in that piece of traffic. Near close to contact there between Alonso and Jonesy, as Räikkönen makes his stop. As meantime, Giovinazzi still trying to find a way through on the one, stopping Hartley. At this stage of the Grand Prix, Hamilton goes through past on Räikkönen. Räikkönen finishes his one and only stop. Let's see where Kimi is going to rejoin then after the pit stop. And he'll flick off the pit limiter very soon now then. He feeds it through the right hand. The Räikkönen rejoins in 11th place behind Carlos Sainz Jr. and in front of a recovering Max Verstappen. Ocon stuck behind Bottas, as they're both on a similar strategy, it appears now. Then they're on similar fuel to each other. Meantime, here are the top two, as Giovinazzi had to go at Hartley again for third place, but again just wasn't able to pull it off, as Hamilton now gets close to that battle himself for third place. As Alonso, can he try and find a way through on Grosjean this time into Priory, and in towards Priory we go. Alonso thought about a dive, but thought better of it there, as you just saw with his head on the right hand side there of your screen. He was looking towards the left at the potential dive, but thought better of it in the end, as they go through the first part of left field and then into the second part. And is Grosjean pitting in the end of this lap anyway? And yes, he is. So Alonso is now free. He retakes the leaders into the pits. Comes Romain Grosjean from the temporary lead of the Grand Prix. Let's see where this is going to put Grosjean out after the pit stop. At the Bud Light Line Motorsport Mechanics wait for him, as we're now on lap 31 of 59 in this Grand Prix. 29 laps to go here at Silverstone. Grosjean being served. Where is he going to rejoin after the pit stop now then, as he puts on a fresh set of tyres and fuel? And let's see then where he's going to come out. And he finishes off his pit stop. Both, I believe Hamilton has gone through, along with these guys who are still yet to make a stop. Hamilton still stuck behind at this stage. Hamilton doesn't need to stop again. So a 1-2 looks to be on the cards for Etihad, as long as Alonso is able to pull off this two-stop strategy to perfection in this Grand Prix. Hamilton now right on the back of that battle between Hartley and Giovinazzi. As where did Grosjean rejoin? Grosjean rejoined in 13th behind the battling Wehrlein and Verstappen, as they go around Maggots and Beckett's and into Chapel. Now going down the hanger straight now then towards Stowe Corner on the track. Wehrlein looking to the inside of Verstappen. Will he get the move done into Stowe Corner? And no, Verstappen covers him off down into the inside and keeps hold of the place that time around. Here's Fernando Alonso currently leading the race in around about 5 laps time. I'll see him possibly making his second pit stop of the race. And so that's that really. Meantime, something's happened to Hartley. Hartley is somewhere. What's happened to Brendan Hartley? He's off. He's got a problem, I think. No, it's off down at Vale. And it's unseen what happened. Whether Gio hit him or not, I don't know. It's unseen. But Hartley has cost himself some good points at Vale. That's the second incident we've seen down at Vale today. And Gio up to second, Hamilton up to third. And now Hamilton left to fight with Giovinazzi for second place. As well, Hartley, I don't know whether he got tapped off by Antonio into that corner. But there we are then, really, Hartley. Let's see now then, as he's going to come out. And he's having to wait for a bit more traffic to go by before he can rejoin. Which he does. He rejoins all the way down in 15th place, and that's effectively race ruined for the Season 3 IFMC GP2 champion. And the Kiwi down in 15th place as a result. As meantime, there's Alonso continuing to lead the way at the moment as Hamilton tries to get Giovinazzi for P2 as they go around Beckett and into Chapel before heading down the hangar straight now then. And will Hamilton get the move done on Gio? He's in the slipstream of the Bud Light line now. Then will he try and move down into Stowe corner? He's going to try and dive it down the inside into Stowe. Down the inside, but again, Gio just able to hang it around the outside to keep hold of second place for the moment in this Grand Prix. And, well, that's that really, as they now both come up towards Vale now. They're on the track, flicking the car in for the left and then around the right-hander he will go. And out the corner we go before approaching the flat-out Abbey corner. And Hamilton looking for any opportunity to pounce on Giovinazzi at this stage as they both head down towards Bridge corner now then. As he looks to the inside into Bridge, will he pull it off? No, Gio shutting the door through that first part there. Then Gio should probably be pitting around about 1 or 2 laps time. So Hamilton shouldn't have to worry about him for much longer, but it will definitely cost him time in trying to close up onto Fernando, as he'll soon be making his second stop in a few laps, as he's got 5.8 litres left in the car, as now he goes around Maggots and into Beckett's now then, through the right-hander and then down through Chapel. We will go as he goes down the hangar straight towards Stowe corner. And Alonso continuing to build lead out in front as the sparks continue to fly out the back of his Etihad as he now goes around Stowe corner now then. Around he goes before going up towards Vale. As here is Hamilton now then, really trying to get hold of Giovinazzi as they go around Chapel. Down the hangar straight now then. Will Hamilton get Giovinazzi even before he makes a pit stop? Giovinazzi is pitting at the end of this lap then, so Gio will be pitting for his one and only stop as they go in towards Stowe corner now then. Hamilton trying to get within the slipstream as he can. There's Hülkenberg's car after beaching it down at Stowe, pulled off into the safety area. Hamilton still trying to find a way through, but luckily for him, Gio is pitting in this lap, so he'll soon not have to worry about the Italian in this Grand Prix. Alonso round Brooklands as he approaches Luffield now then. And as I said, probably right about a couple of laps time, we'll see Alonso making his second and final stop of the afternoon as he goes around Woodcote, going as fast as possible before approaching Copse corner. And Alonso doing whatever he can to try and get his third victory of the season and his second legit victory of the season as well, as now he comes around Maggots. And now into Beckett's we will go. And then round the right-hander before going down through Chapel. And now out down the hangar straight goes the three-time champions. Into the pits comes Antonio Giovinazzi for his one and only stop on lap 33 of 59 now then. Alonso now on lap 34 of the race. So we now have 26 laps remaining in this British Grand Prix. And around a couple of laps time as mentioned, or maybe even next lap now, Alonso should be pitting for his second and final stop of the afternoon. Where is Gio going to come out after this pit stop now? Then he's dropping a few places already after the pit stop. It's a 13.9 second stop for the Italian. Where is he going to rejoin as he goes trundling down pit lane? And he'll soon flick off the pit limiter now then. And Giovinazzi, let's see where he's going to rejoin. He flicks off the pit limiter and Giovinazzi rejoins in 13th position in front of Stoffel Van Dorn. So that's that. In 13th now is Giovinazzi and behind Daniel Ricciardo. So that's that ready. Verstappen back in the points now, but he's having to fend off from Verline's AMP and doing a good job fending him off at this stage. Here's Alonso round Woodcote, as he's now going to be pitting at the end of this lap then. So Alonso pitting at the end of lap 35 for his second and final stop of the afternoon as he comes out of Copse corner before approaching Maggots and Beckett's now then. Round the left, then the right, and then into the left-hander again as he goes through the section of corners now then on the track. Through Chapel goes Alonso as he heads down the hangar straight up towards Stowe corner on the track we will go. And so now around Stowe as he goes around the right-hander before going around these next section of corners before approaching Vale and Club. So around the left-hander we go then, round Club, sorry, Vale, and then round Club. We'll be seeing Alonso going into the pits at the end of this lap. Here's Lewis Hamilton. It looks like he's not going to be getting Alonso. Alonso should still be in the lead after this pit stop as he heads down through Bridge corner now then. up towards Priory, and then into Brooklands comes the 3-time champion, and we'll be seeing him peel into the pits this time around, up towards the double right-hander at Luffield, as he flicks the car in through that corner. In towards the second part, he will peel to the right, and into the pits comes Fernando Alonso from the lead of the Grand Prix, as he just goes around that chicane. Well, let's see how quick the stop's going to be then for Fernando, as he will put on a fresh set of tyres and fuel, and it will get him to the end of the race. And the Etihad mechanics getting to work on the 3-time champions Etihad. A clean wipe of the visor for Fernando. Where is he going to rejoin then, as a new set of Bridgestones go onto his car? And it is a 13-second exactly stop for Fernando Alonso. In fact, Lewis is actually coming down the pit straight. In fact, Hamilton, I was wrong. I actually estimated that wrong. Hamilton is going to lead his home race. Alonso has lost a lot of time in the pits, and Alonso is going to rejoin in second. So he's got to get his foot down if he wants to win the race. But Hamilton now leads his home Grand Prix by a comfortable margin. And with, 24 laps remaining, Alonso's got to get his foot down and chase him down for lead of the race. But remember, the Spaniard does have fresher tyres, so it could make his life a little easier. He does rejoin in second place. A 1-2 does look in the cards, but now he's got to get his head down and chase after his one-stopping teammate, Lewis Hamilton, and try and stop him from increasing the gap more in the Drivers' Championship, and stop him from taking a second consecutive British Grand Prix victory. As he goes around Club Corner now then, as Hamilton made the one-stop work, as they're both now roughly on the same amount of fuel, but Alonso is on the fresher tyres. He'll now try and hunt down his own teammate for the victory here at Silverstone. Out of Stowe Corner now, then we go, before approaching the flat-out Abbey Corner. Dixon into the pits for his final stop. Ocon's still stuck behind Bottas at the moment. Both of these guys still yet to make a stop, as he's quickly fending off from Ocon as they battle for 5th place. Ocon had to back off there, going into Abbey there, through Bridge, up towards Priory and Brooklands. The pair of them will now go. Bottas going defensive again, can still feel the pressure from Ocon behind. Through in towards Priory, and then up into Brooklands we will go. Hamilton continuing to lead the way as Dixon, that is, I think that was in the pits, is finishing off his pit stop. Let's see what the gap is like between Hamilton and Alonso. Is one lap, 37 of 59, 23 laps to go in this British Grand Prix. As they go up towards Copse Corner, 9.1 seconds is the gap that Alonso's got to cut down from this point onwards. So Hamilton through Chapel, and just got to hope he can make this one-stop strategy work, because I think it's clear that Alonso will be going a lot quicker than him at this stage of the Grand Prix. As Magnussen and Leclerc's there to make a stop. Magnussen is pitting at the end of this lap. Leclerc probably either a lap or two after Magnussen makes his stop. Meantime, back to this battle for... I don't know if it will be for 3rd place, because these two are still yet to make a stop. As they come down the hanger straight, let's see, can Ocon get Bottas? But he's too far back. Bottas keeping on the 5th for the moment. Sainz still yet to make a stop, as is Verstappen and Verline, so it maybe could even find himself that Grosjean could actually be on the podium by the end of it, so he could make his one stop work out for a final podium place. As here comes Hamilton, down through Priory he goes, as Alonso now comes up towards Bridge Corner himself. We'll see what the gap is like next time around, as Hamilton will soon be starting lap 38 very soon in this Grand Prix. 22 laps remaining in the Grand Prix. Up towards Brooklands now, then we go. Shifting down a couple of gears through into that corner, as now through in towards Luffield A and Luffield B on the track. Let's see now then what the gap is like between Alonso and Hamilton as they go around Woodcote. Now then, 22 laps remaining in this British Grand Prix at Silverstone. Through Copse Corner, the gap between the pair of them is down to 8.3 seconds. So Alonso has taken out, I believe, he has taken out 8 tenths out of Hamilton's league, as Magnussen is into the pits for his final stop. Also in is Carlos Sainz Jr. And that looks like Verline is coming to the pits as well. So a few cars in this time around as they look to try and get some positions in this race, some decent positions in this Grand Prix. As finishing off his pit stop goes Kevin Magnussen. He'll soon flick off the pit limiter. And so let's see when Magnussen is going to rejoin then after the pit stop now then. And Magnussen rejoined in 12th position in front of Brendan Hartley. So that's that really, as Hartley's busy having to fend off a recovering Sergio Perez. But having saying that, Perez is pitting in the end of this lap, so Hartley, well, in fact, they're both pitting quite soon anyway, so these two will be fighting it out only for a lonely 13th position. Meantime, let's see what the gap is like between the top two this time. Last time around, it was 8.3 seconds between the two Etihads. Let's see if Alonso's been able to shave that gap a little more on this lap. Out of Lovefield 2 we go. And now round Woodcote. Let's see what the gap is like this time between Hamilton and Alonso. 21 laps to go in this British Grand Prix. Up towards Copse Corner now then. And the gap is down to 7.5 seconds. So another 8 tenths taken out of Hamilton's lead. That time around now then, 7.5 seconds is the gap between Hamilton and Alonso. This time around in this Grand Prix. As the meantime, Ocon had a go at Bottas as Leclerc is into the pits for his scheduled stop. He was in a little bit of a battle with Kevin Magnussen. So let's see how quick the stop's going to be then for the future Eldorado driver Charles Leclerc. As a quick wipe of the visor for him now then. Let's see where Leclerc is going to be joining. A 12.3 second stop for the Shadow Mechanics. Where is he going to rejoin now then? As Van Dorn rejoins, is into the pits himself. Leclerc rejoins in 11th behind Kevin Magnussen. So Magnussen's still in front. As Van Dorn into the pits. Through goes teammate Verline. Perez is in now then. He's in a battle with Hartley. Meantime, back to the Etihads. Let's see what the gap is like this time around. Up towards Brooklands goes Fernando Alonso. Confirmation that Sergio Perez is into the pits, and I'm pretty sure that Bottas will be probably pitting very soon in his battle with Ocon, and Ocon will probably be pitting about a lap or two after Bottas. So around Woodcote we go, and let's see the gap now then between Alonso and Hamilton. 20 laps to go in the Grand Prix. Up towards Copse we go. Around the right-hander, and the gap is 6.7 seconds. So another 8 tenths taken out of Hamilton's lead there. It's been 8 tenths each lap as Bottas is into the pits for his scheduled stop in his battle for Ocon. And Ocon's actually staying out for about 3 or 4 more laps before he makes his stop in the hope of trying to leapfrog Bottas in the pits. He's got some clear track, so he might as well try and put his foot down if he can, as Vettel's pitting, it seems, just to try and get fastest lap, it appears, or maybe just to get some mileage run in for EMR. But the race effectively over for the East Midlands based team. Their home race down the toilet, it seems, and Perez having to wait for Vettel. So Bottas having to wait for Vettel, and Giovinazzi is out. Antonio Giovinazzi is out of the British Grand Prix for the 2nd season in a row. What has happened to Antonio Giovinazzi? Whereabouts is he on the track? And let's see. Oh, he spun at Copse and he smashed it into the wall in similar style to what Alonso did 2 seasons ago, and similar to what Roland did earlier. Giovinazzi out of the race, and we're down to 18 runners in this Grand Prix. And, well, that's that. Oh, sorry, 19 runners, I think. Unless it's still registering in the fact that he's retired. So, we'll wait and see on that. But Giovinazzi out of what could have been points in today's Grand Prix. Grosjean looking good for a podium. It seems he's now close to Ocon. As soon as Ocon pits, Grosjean should resume 3rd place. Bottas rejoins in 11th behind Pascal Wehrlein. So that's where he's going to be joining in front of Ocon's teammate, Max Verstappen. As Verstappen will look to try and help out Ocon in trying to leapfrog Bottas. Well, Vettel held up Bottas in the pit, so he might have helped him out a little bit, it must be said. As here is Hamilton now then, still leading, but what's the gap between him and Alonso this time around now then, as they come down towards Copse Corner on the track. Through turn 1 we go now then, and it's 7 seconds, so only 7 tenths this time around was taken out as someone rejoined out on the track from the pits. Hartley rejoined from his pit stop right in front of Alonso as Perez has spun and smacked it into the wall at Beckett, and that's race over what has been a disappointing race from Sergio Perez. Perez out of the British Grand Prix, and we're down to 18 runners now, and well, that's that really. And race over for Sergio Perez. Ocon pitting at the end of this lap as he looks to try and jump Bottas into the pits now then, as Bottas pulls a little bit of a gap between himself and Verstappen as he tries to reel in Verline, and signs are battling it out for what looks to be 9th place in this Grand Prix. As mentioned, Hartley rejoined from his pit stop right into the path of Fernando Alonso. Alonso managed to rejoin him. That might managed to lap him. That might cost Alonso a bit of time. But as I was about to say before Perez crashed, Perez actually got the jump on Hartley in the pits before he crashed at the exit of Beckett, and that's that really. As we'll now have a look and see what the gap is like this time around between Alonso and Hamilton. Ocon will be pitting in this lap in his battle with Bottas. Out of left field we go, and Alonso now then about to start lap 42 of 59 in this Grand Prix. 18 laps I believe that is remaining in the Grand Prix through Cops, and it's now down to 6.8 seconds, so only 2/10 that time around as a result of Hartley rejoining in front of him in the pits, holding up Alonso a little bit, but he's still taking a bit of time out of Hamilton's lead, still lapping quicker than the one stopping Hamilton in front. In fact, they're now both on the same straight as each other. Hamilton at the bottom of Hanger Straight, Alonso at the top, so it's closer than it has been before, as Ocon is in for his scheduled stop in the Martini. Where is Ocon going to rejoin? Grosjean now finding himself onto the podium. Ricciardo in for his final stop as Ocon finishes his pit stop. Where is Bottas on the track now then? Bottas is coming up towards the final corner now then, and I think Ocon has actually done enough to leapfrog him, in fact by a clear margin. Rejoining on the track then comes Esteban Ocon, and he rejoins in 7th place into the points in front of Sainz and in front of Bottas, who's outside the points. So Ocon has managed to leapfrog Bottas in the pits and rejoins in 7th place. Oh, Leclerc's gone for a spin! Down at Beckett's lucky to avoid the wall. Sorry for the voice break. That lifts Ocon up another place. Another spinner down at Beckett's. And but luckily for Leclerc, he just misses the wall there. But yeah, that's that really. As he goes for another spin as he tries to get the cutter going. He's now having to wait for everybody to go around him at this stage. And well, that's that really. Here's Hamilton, the race leader now then, as Van Dorn had a little bit of oversteer. Leclerc gets itself going again, but he loses another place to Van Dorn, and now Hamilton's getting close to lapping him at this stage of the Grand Prix. And we didn't check as a result of that spin from Leclerc what the gap was like this time between Hamilton and Alonso, but you can get an indication of how close Alonso is now to Hamilton down that Hanger Straight as the 2 mile Grand Prix cars fight it out for 16th place. Räikkönen meantime trying to close in onto Grosjean to see if he can get the podium place off him, as they are both 21.2 seconds back. Well, Grosjean 21.2 seconds back from Fernando Alonso. Räikkönen trying to close him in at this stage. Magnussen, after a tricky qualifying section, looking good for a very strong points finish. 5th place for him after only qualifying 18th yesterday. He's going to bring it all the way back up to 5th place. A big recovery drive from Kevin Magnussen, it must be said. Ocon looking good to pick up some more points for Martini as Sainz and Verline fight it out for time, and a crash for Bottas. Bottas has smacked it at the exit of Cop's corner, losing his front wing in the process. It looks like he might have spun on his own accord, and he did, similar to what Perez did a little early on. He tried to catch it but wasn't able to, loses his front wing in the process. And well, that's Eldorado and EMR's wreckful weekend pretty much over with. Both EMR and Eldorado look like they're not going to be scoring any points at all, as Bottas has got to do an entire lap without half a front wing, and well, get it to the pits as a result. And well, that's the end of that then for Valtteri Bottas. Now let's see what the gap is like between Alonso and Hamilton as they go out of Cop's corner. 5.5 seconds is the gap now between the pair of them. It is getting closer between the two Etihads. 5.5 seconds separates Hamilton and Alonso with just 16 laps to go in this British Grand Prix, as Hamilton goes down the Hanger Straight now then. So Räikkönen, I want to see what the gap is like between him and Grosjean, as it looks like they could be fighting it out for 3rd place in this race now then. Let's see, as they're both on similar fuel loads. Out of Cop's corner, 3.5 seconds is the gap between Grosjean and Räikkönen at this stage. So we'll keep an eye on that gap as best as possible. Same with the two Etihads, who look to be duking it out for the win here at Silverstone. As around Club corner goes Alonso before approaching Abbey. And so that's that then really, as they go around the quick left-hander at Abbey, as Hamilton continues to lead the way out in front of the moment, as a yellow flag at it seems that he has a yellow flag for some reason. Why is there a yellow? Is it at Luffield perhaps? For some reason there's a yellow flag, but I can't seem to find. But well, Bottas has lost a front wing a little earlier, but I can't. There's a yellow flag out on track, but I don't know why there's a yellow all of a sudden. Has somebody gone off it appears. It says that we're down to 70 runners. Is that a marshal actually clearing somebody over there? Unless that's my eyes deceiving me. Let's see if it says anybody who's retired. Yeah, Carlos Sainz is out of the race. What a shame for Carlos Sainz. It looked like a mechanical problem, so it did look like there was a car being towed away. And no, yes, it was a water leak, but he smashed it into the wall in disgust. And Carlos Sainz is out of the Grand Prix, and we're down to 17 runners. And, well, who does that lift in the points? I think that lifts now Verstappen into the points. So both Martinis now into the points, with Verstappen up in 8th place. A brilliant recovery after the contact he had with Hülkenberg earlier on in the race. As into the pits comes Bottas to repair the front wing. Effectively, EMR and Eldorado are not going to be getting any points, and it looks like SuomI and Bud Light Line are going to gain hugely on them in the Constructors' Championship in their battle for second. So, that's that really, as Alonso comes out of Copse corner, as it's now down to 4.2 seconds between him and Hamilton. So he's taken 1.3 seconds out of Hamilton's lead there. Looks like Hamilton had to negotiate a bit of traffic in the form of Leclerc, so that could explain why. But Alonso now 4.2 seconds back from Lewis Hamilton, his teammate in this Grand Prix. What's the gap between Grosjean and Räikkönen? It was 3.5 seconds last lap around. Bottas has now got a new front wing in on Copse corner, 3.6 seconds. So in fact, Grosjean is pulled away now by a 10th. So Räikkönen unable to respond to Grosjean's pace at this stage of the Grand Prix, as Hamilton goes around club corner now then, before approaching Abbey. And Alonso still trying to reel him in if he can, as they go up now towards Abbey, flicking the car through the left-hander before heading down the hill towards Bridge corner now then. And Alonso still trying to see if he can grab a victory here at Silverstone, as he continues to close in on Lewis Hamilton. And he's even got a fellow Etihad employee, Charles Leclerc, to negotiate first before he can get anywhere close to Lewis Hamilton. Through towards Luffield A goes Alonso, and then he will approach Luffield B, and now he will approach Woodcote as he comes down the pit straight now then. And let's see what the gap is like now then between the top two of Alonso and Hamilton, as we have 14 laps to go in this British Grand Prix. It's down to 3.5 seconds, so Alonso taking another 7/10 out of Hamilton's lead there on that lap. 3.5 seconds the gap between the two Etihad drivers, as they negotiate around Maggots and Beckett's now then for the 46th time today. Heading down the hanger straight now then, and Alonso continuing to pile on the pressure as best as possible. And let's see if Räikkönen's able to gain back on this lap, or whether Grosjean will continue to pull away out of Copse corner now. Then we go, and it's up to 3.7, so Grosjean just lapping quicker than Räikkönen as a result, up to by another 10th. Meantime, we've got a battle for 5th emerging between Magnussen and Ocon. So these two looking to fight it out for 4 championship points, as Verstappen continues to close in onto Wehrlein to try and get 2 championship points off the German now. Then up towards Copse corner we go, flicking the car in out of turn 1 now there before approaching Maggots and Beckett's. And Ocon trying to get a run on Magnussen if he can now, then through to Beckett's, and then they will approach through that part and then into Chapel. Will Ocon try and get Magnussen for P5 in this race? He tucks up into his slipstream now then. He's going to look to the inside, hasn't got enough momentum, tucks back into the slipstream again, flicks it to the inside. Will he try and dive it into Stoke corner? Has a go, but Magnussen shutting the door there and keeping hold of 5th place at this stage of the Grand Prix. Here's Alonso now then, 13 laps remaining for Hamilton, but let's see what the gap is like between him and his teammate coming out of Copse. 3.3 seconds, so only 2/10 taken out of him that time around as he starts to get closer to Hamilton. Only 2/10 Alonso took out of Hamilton on that lap. Through into Beckett's we go, flicking the car in and then around Chapel before both of them head down the hanger straight before heading towards Stoke corner on the track. And there's Hamilton, who's been on these tyres for a long time, as they start to wear in. Alonso's got fresher tyres, of course, so he's able to use them to good effect if he can, to try and get hold of Lewis Hamilton, as they now come up towards Vale and Club now then, through the left and then into the right-hander. We will go Verne all over the backside of Ed Jones as he looks to try and get 14th from the Mars Grand Prix driver. Still sticking with him alongside around the outside. And will he be able to get him done into Stowe? And Jones still sticking with him, but Verne gets the place. And that's that for him. Meantime, back to this battle for 5th between Magnussen and Ocon. Through in towards Maggots. And then into Beckett's corner now. Then we go before heading up towards Chapel. Heading towards Chapel, I should say. round the left-hander. And now as we head down the hanger straight, Ocon in the slipstream of Kevin Magnussen now then, as he will try and look to the inside into that corner. Verstappen's getting close to the back of Wehrlein in the background there as Magnussen covers him off into Stowe corner. So that's that for him really. It's got close now. Hamilton has lost a lot of time now. I wonder if he went off somewhere, because now Alonso's right on the prowl of him. The two Etihads closer together on this lap now than it is. It's down to 0.3 seconds between the two Etihads now then as they come around Maggots. And now into Beckett's now then. Will Alonso grab the lead from his teammate down onto the hanger straight and ruin any chance of Hamilton getting a home victory? Down the hanger straight now then. Will Alonso get Hamilton into Stowe corner? Is he close enough to make a move? And he doesn't look like he's close enough to get Hamilton this time around now then. And I'm guessing Etihad are allowing their drivers to race at this stage. No team orders. They are allowing them to race. And now up towards Vale we go. Alonso keeping single file, not risking it as that then really as far as he is concerned. As meantime now Ocon, will he try and get Magnussen down to Copse corner as they go around Woodcote now then up towards Copse. Ocon down the inside of Magnussen. Would he get the move done into Copse? No, he can't. Magnussen fends him off into turn one and keeps hold of the place for now. Verstappen getting close to the rear now of Wehrlein up towards Priory. Will Alonso try and dive it into Priory? No. Staying single file, go the two Etihad drivers through Priory and Brooklands now then. And Alonso looking to pounce if he can. And I think this is the closest they've been to battling for the lead all season. And it's here at Silverstone where it's happened. The two rivals of the last 3 seasons now then looking to battle for the lead, as both of them want to win here at Silverstone. Round Woodcote we go, down the pit straight, heading towards Copse corner. Alonso not close enough to get Hamilton into Copse, as now they go around turn one on the track now then. And Alonso doing whatever he can to get Hamilton in this Grand Prix. Round Maggots. And now into Beckett's we will go before approaching Chapel. And now in towards Chapel now then we go. Will Alonso get a run on Hamilton now then as they come down the hanger straight? Alonso in the slipstream of Hamilton. He's going to tuck up into his slipstream. He's going to try and look to the inside. Will he try and outbrake Hamilton into Stowe corner? Down the inside into Stowe, but Hamilton shuts the door and keeps hold of the lead for the moment. Hamilton keeping back Alonso at this stage of the Grand Prix. Ocon still stuck behind Magnussen at this stage now then. They both go around Vale and Club. And now round the right hand there we go. And wow, this is getting quite tense in these closing stages of the British Grand Prix. 11 laps to go here at Silverstone as we head down the hill towards Bridge Corner now then. Alonso looking for a way through on Lewis Hamilton in this Grand Prix, rounding towards Priory, and then we will go up towards Brooklands now then on the track. And what a race it's turned out to be here at Silverstone. Silverstone never fails to impress for IFMC, and wow, that's really as far as they're concerned. As now meantime Ocon down the inside of trying to look down the inside of Magnussen, down into Stowe corner. Will Ocon pull it off? Down the inside he goes, but again Magnussen holding it around the outside to keep hold of the position at this stage. Meantime the two Etihads up towards Copse corner. 9 laps to go in this British Grand Prix. Out of Copse now then before approaching Maggots and Beckett's. And now through towards the left, then the right, and then through into the left again before going right and left yet again before heading down the hanger straight. Will Alonso get Hamilton this time around now then as they go down the hanger straight? Will Alonso get Hamilton for the lead? And again not close enough to get the move done on his teammate in this Grand Prix. And well, that's that really. Ocon now around Priory he'll go before approaching Brooklands 1 and 2. And meantime Verstappen getting close now to the rear of Pascal Wehrlein in this Grand Prix. A double points finish looks to be on the cards for Martini this weekend. Now they round Woodcote now. Then will Ocon get the move done on Magnussen this time around as he got towards Copse now then, and he's not close enough to get him that time around as he just feed the car in through turn 1. Now then here are the two Etihads again, and Alonso choosing to stay single file through Priory. And now in towards Brooklands we will go. And so up towards Luffield 1 and 2 on the track we will go. And round we go then through Luffield 1 and around Luffield 2 we go. As they now come up towards Woodcote. Will Alonso get a run on Hamilton down towards the pit straight now then? 9 laps to go. 9 laps to go in this British Grand Prix. As through Copse we go. Alonso pushing hard to get Hamilton for the lead. He doesn't want to end up losing the race after leading it for most of this Grand Prix. He doesn't want to lose it at this stage now then, as they both feed around. Feed around Beckett's down the hanger straight. Will Alonso get Hamilton this time around in the slipstream? Goes Fernando Alonso. Will he have enough straight to get Hamilton down towards Stoke Corner? Trying to dive it down the inside and isn't able to do so, and keeps hold of the lead for the moment. Alonso suffering for a bit of an understeer there, probably because of the dirty air behind Hamilton's car now then, and Hamilton keeping all of the lead for the time being now then, as they go through Vale and Club. And well, very intense stuff between the two Etihad drivers in this Grand Prix. So now they come down the hanger straight now. Then Ocon right on the prowl of Magnussen again, trying to find a way through. Clearly his engine is at a disadvantage at the moment, not up to date with what the SuomI has got in the back of the car, it seems, at this stage. But Ocon's still giving it a good go as he looks down the inside into Maggots. But again, Magnussen covers him off into that corner there then. And he'll have to look again, possibly down at the hanger straight, as Verstappen's still not close enough to Verline at this stage now. And as they go down the hanger straight, will Ocon get the move done on Magnussen down towards Stoke Corner? Magnussen goes defensive. I thought for a minute there Ocon was going to go for a dummy, but it didn't quite work out for him there, and stays behind Magnussen for that moment as they go up towards Copse Corner. For the two Etihad drivers, Alonso still stuck behind Hamilton in this Grand Prix, trying to pile him into a mistake if he can. Round Maggots, then into Beckett. We go now then, round the right-hander, through into Chapel. Will Alonso grab the lead from Hamilton this time around? Down the hanger straight we go. Alonso closer than what he has done before. Down, looking to the inside, but does he have enough momentum perhaps to try and break later than Hamilton? Into Stoke Corner, down the inside he goes. Hamilton trying to hang in around the outside, through into Stoke Corner, and keeps hold of the lead for now. Alonso just hasn't been able to get alongside him properly to get the move stick on his rival as they go around Vale and Club. And well, there you go now then, as they come around these section of corners now then. Here's Ocon again trying to make a move on Magnussen as they come out of Woodcote now then, up towards Copse. Will Ocon get the move done on K-Mag as they come around Copse Corner now then on the track out of turn 1. And Ocon now then trying to make the move stick, trying to look at Magnussen if we can. Not quite able to do enough into the first part there then, into Beckett's. And then they'll come down the hanger straight. And well, that's that really as they go through Chapel. Ocon now, they're really trying to get the move done on the SuomI now. Then down the hanger straight, up towards Stoke Corner. Ocon looking to the inside. Magnussen doesn't think about defending again. Ocon just not properly alongside Magnussen at this stage of the Grand Prix. And well, that's that really as far as they're concerned. Alonso not close enough to Hamilton. Down into Copse Corner there then, as we are now on, as it's 0.4 seconds between Alonso and Hamilton at this stage. Lap 53 of 59 in this Grand Prix now then. We have 7 laps to go in this Grand Prix. 7 laps for Alonso to try and find a way through on Hamilton. He doesn't look close enough to get him down the hanger straight on this lap. He's only got a few laps left, and he's got to try and make every one of those laps count if he wants to take his 3rd victory of the season and close a little bit back into Hamilton in the championship. Otherwise, Hamilton will increase his lead in the championship to up to 20 points between himself and Alonso. And well, that's that really, is Verline and Verstappen now right on that battle for 5th place. Magnussen essentially now holding up a train of cars consisting of himself, Ocon, Verline, and now Verstappen as they now head down towards Copse Corner. Ocon in the slipstream of Magnussen down towards Copse. Will he get the move done? Down to Copse again. Magnussen closing the door into that corner as he will now try again into Maggots now then before approaching Beckett. And that's that really, through into Beckett's before approaching Chapel. And Ocon trying everything in his power to get Magnussen in this Grand Prix. Down the hanger straight we go now then. Ocon again looks to the inside. Not enough momentum. Will he try again into Stowe? Trying to break later. Then the Dane. But again, Magnussen closing the door into Stowe Corner. And the frustration possibly getting to Ocon and maybe even Alonso as well. being stuck behind Hamilton. No team orders at all. They are racing for the victory as they are both in this championship now then. Through Maggots into Beckett now then we go before heading down through Chapel. And now Alonso trying to get a run on Hamilton down the hangar straight. Will Alonso do enough to get the lead this time around? He tries to get on the inside of Lewis Hamilton. Will he try this time into Stowe corner? Down the inside into Stowe. Tries to look to the inside of Hamilton again. Trying to get alongside the Brit. But again, Hamilton just has enough of an edge to stay in front of his teammate at this stage of the Grand Prix. And the frustration possibly getting to Fernando Alonso. At the moment in this Grand Prix, Magnussen's got a bit of a gap, it seemed, between himself and Esteban Ocon as they come out of the final corner before approaching Woodcote. And now heading down up towards Copse corner now. Then we go through Copse. And they're flicking the car through the right-hander. And looks like Ocon may have had a bit of more traction than what Magnussen had coming out of Copse. As Bottas tries to unlap himself in the form of Räikkönen. So that'll possibly be it then for Räikkönen to actually grab third from Grosjean, and Grosjean looking good to pick up a third consecutive podium this season. As now Alonso, as we now have 5 laps to go in this British Grand Prix. We are getting close towards the end here at Silverstone, and now up towards Maggots and Beckett's we go. For the 55th time today. They're both coming up to some more traffic. And could that help Alonso get past Hamilton? Or will it help Hamilton just essentially just get away a little bit from Fernando Alonso as we come down the hangar straight now, then up towards Stowe. Alonso trying to get up close, but he's not close enough again to get Hamilton this time around as they all feed it round Stowe corner now, then on the track. And then through the left-hander we will go. As meantime, Verne trying to find a way through on Dixon for 13th, but Dixon having none of it at this stage. Still trying to fight despite having the underpowered Porsche engine right in the back of him at this stage of the Grand Prix. As meantime, now then Ocon trying to find a way through on Kevin Magnussen for P5 as they head down the pit straight. Will he get him this time around? In the slipstream he goes, looking to the inside. Will he try and dive it down the inside to the Copse? No, he doesn't. Thinks better of it that time around. Verstappen trying to get a run on Verline if he can now then as I go towards Maggots and Beckett's now then. Ocon still stuck behind Magnussen, probably getting frustrated in the process as well. As we go around the right and left-hander on the track. And so that's pretty much that then really as far as they're concerned. Down the hangar straight now then will Ocon get the move done on Kevin Magnussen, and again Magnussen covering him off. And the pass, Verstappen down the inside of Verline. Will Verstappen get the move done? And he does. Verstappen up to 7th place as Ricciardo now starts to chase down for that battle. That train of cars battling out for 5th place. So as out goes Hartley. Brendan Hartley adds the Grand Prix. What's happened to Brendan Hartley? As an electrical problem for Van Dorn, and it was a transmission problem that took care of Brendan Hartley. So he wasn't able to make it to the pits. Van Dorn does with his electrical problem. But out of the race goes Brendan Hartley, and we're down to 16 runners as a result. Van Dorn in to repair an electrical problem, and that's his race effectively over with as a result. But Verstappen passes Verline and gets up into 7th place, now trying to chase down his teammate and Magnussen for P5 as Ricciardo has now caught up to this battle. He looks to try and get some points for GLM after what has been a struggle this season for the Surrey-based team. As now Ricciardo tries to get hold of them in front, through into Priory and Brooklands we go. As that battle looks to continue on at this stage as Verne struggles to find a way through on Dixon for what will now be 12th place. Fernando still hasn't been able to find a way through on Hamilton at this stage. He's only got, 3 and a bit laps left of which to try and get him and win his first British Grand Prix. And, well, that'll be that then really down towards Bridge Corner now, then up towards Priory. Will he get the move done into Priory? Will he try and dive it down the inside? No, single file through into Priory. And now up towards Brooklands we will now go. And now up towards Luffield 1 and 2 on the track. And so that's that then really. As up towards Woodcote we go. And 3 laps now remaining then for Lewis Hamilton as he starts lap 57 of 59 here at Silverstone. As Verne now, they're still trying to find a way through on Scott Dixon if he can. Round Abbey, Dixon just fends him off that time around. As now Ocon Will he find a way through on Magnussen for P5 as Danny inside goes Verline again on Verstappen, but Verstappen shuts the door into Vale, and now Verline in the clutches of Daniel Ricciardo's GRM as they go around Club Corner, as this could be a fight towards the bitter death of the last lap. As down the hanger straight goes Alonso again, look to the outside and wasn't going to be able to work out. Hamilton fending off into Stowe Corner now then, and now round Stowe we go before flicking it round the left-hander before approaching Vale and Club. Will Alonso try and dive it down the inside into Vale? And no, he doesn't stay single file. Probably thinking of the team here, trying to keep these cars in one piece, because that will obviously not fare well for either of them at this stage. As Räikkönen, where is Bottas? Bottas was behind him a little earlier. As there is, he's getting now a yellow on his oh Jesus, his splitter, as is Vettel as well. But where's Bottas at the moment? I know that Bottas retired a little earlier. Has a little bit of a flick there from Vern, because he was Bottas retired a little earlier on, or has he just dropped back a little more? There he is. I think Bottas must have made a mistake, because he's now down in 15th place, because he was right behind Räikkönen, so adding more woes to his disappointing races. Now down the inside goes Ocon again on Magnussen again, isn't able to make it work out, as Magnussen stays in 5th for the moment, as we're now onto the penultimate lap of this British Grand Prix. We're on lap 58 to 59 in this Grand Prix now then. As we go around Beckett, Alonso just trying everything he can to get past Hamilton in this Grand Prix. As now we go around Chapel, down the hanger straight. Will Alonso get the move done on Lewis Hamilton now then, as they go up towards Stowe Corner on the track. Sparks continuing to fly out the back of his car through Stowe, as they'll now just go around the left hander now then before approaching Vale and Club. So in towards the left-hander we go, round the left and then into the right, and Alonso still unable to find a way through there at this stage, as Verstappen's up to 6th on Team Bonnet cameras. He's passed Ocon, so up to 6th place goes Max Verstappen, as he'll now try and get Magnussen with 2 laps remaining. Magnussen in the slipstream, Verstappen in the slipstream, and Magnussen trying to look to the inside into Kopp's corner, and unable to do so. Staying in 5th place then is Magnussen there, then Verstappen getting up to 6th. Ricciardo still struggling to find a way through on Verline for P8 in this Grand Prix, as they go around Maggots and Beckett's now then on the track. And Verstappen looking to grab 5th from Magnussen if he can. Pretty soon the two Etihads will start their final lap of the British Grand Prix. Down the hanger straight will Verstappen get the move done on Kevin Magnussen now then, down towards Stowe Corner. Magnussen shutting the door, and rightfully so, keeping on the 5th place from Max Verstappen in this Grand Prix. Meantime, the two Etihads have started the final lap of the Grand Prix. Hamilton, if he can just hold on, it'll be the beautiful race for him. He started in 3rd place, managed to make the one-stop workout to be in front of Alonso, and if he can just hold him off, he's looking good to make it his 2nd British Grand Prix victory. But Alonso trying to fend him off down the hanger straight, looking to the outside, but Hamilton fends him off as Van Dorn now sets the fastest lap of the race, surprisingly. Van Dorn with a 1:92.612 sets the fastest lap of the race at this stage. Will Alonso try and dive it down towards Vale now then? Let's see, he might have to try and go for something, as this is the last lap. Wasn't thinking of a move there. His last chance is probably at Priory as they go around Club Corner, because at this stage Hamilton will increase the gap to 20 points between himself and Alonso in the Drivers' Championship, as now going up towards the flat out Abbey Corner now then. Before heading down through Bridge, will Alonso get the move done on Lewis Hamilton as they go around Bridge Corner up towards Priory we go. Hamilton goes defensive for the last time. He felt the pressure of Alonso, and Hamilton has been able to fend him off, and I think he's just done enough to get victory here at Silverstone. He's been able to make the one-stop work, and it's going to be 2 out of 2 home victories for Lewis Hamilton this season, his 2nd consecutive British Grand Prix. As now coming around the right-hander we go, it is going to be Lewis Hamilton who wins the British Grand Prix here at Silverstone. Congratulations to him and the Etihad Racing team. Hamilton gets his 2nd consecutive British Grand Prix victory. 2 out of 2 wins at home for Lewis after winning at Donington and Silverstone. Alonso close behind his 2nd, possibly gutted after leading for most of the race, was not able to make the 2-stop work and unable to find a way through on Lewis Hamilton. Has to settle for 2nd place and losing time to Hamilton more in the Drivers' Championship. Van Dorn setting another fastest lap of 1:19.577. as on his final lap there, Grosjean finishes in third to pick up the final podium place, making his one-stop work. Räikkönen is going to cross the line in fourth place. So P4 for Kimi Räikkönen, and we need to check and see what's going on with that battle for fifth place. Is Verstappen being able to get Magnussen? No, Magnussen is still ahead of Verstappen at this stage now then. And Magnussen is just going to hold off this group of cars now then. This train of cars that he's been holding off at the finish line now then as they go up towards Woodcote. It's going to be Magnussen who's going to cross the line in fifth. A brilliant recovery after only qualifying 18th. Verstappen, brilliant recovery to finish 6th. Ocon 7th. Verline rounds out the points in 8th. Ricciardo just missing out in 9th. Vettel, disappointing 16th. Bottas, disappointing 15th for him in the end. Leclerc is going to finish in 10th in the shadow despite the spin he had earlier. It could have been points today, but it didn't. So it's going to be P10 for Charles Leclerc as he now comes through the Woodcote. Leclerc finishes in 10th place in the shadow, and there you have it then. In the end, Lewis Hamilton is the winner, and that is a perfect shot for probably Etihad to put on their Twitter with their two drivers side by side at club congratulating each other. Lewis Hamilton has done it here yet again, 3 in a row for the Brit. So there you have it then, guys. After all of that, here is the result of the British Grand Prix. Lewis Hamilton gives what the fans want and wins his home race by only 3 attempts. So the Fernando Alonso in second. Another 1-2 for Etihad this season. Third this season, I believe. It is Romain Grosjean in third. Kimi Räikkönen in fourth. Kevin Magnussen, brilliant recovery after qualifying in 18th to finish 5th. Max Verstappen, brilliant recovery after what happened to him on the first lap with Hülkenberg, which is under investigation, finishing in 6th. Ocon 7th. Verline in 8th. Ricciardo 9th. Leclerc 10th, Vandal 11th, Dixon 12th, Verne 13th. Those two, of course, under investigation for their collision at the start, along with Leclerc and Perez. Dixon 12th, Verne 13th, Jean Verne 13th, with Ed Jones 14th. And if we scroll down the rest of the field, Valtteri Bottas in 15th, Sebastian Vettel in 16th. Brendan Hartley was actually classified in 17th. And the 5 official retirements then were Carlos Sainz Jr., Sergio Perez, Antonio Giovinazzi, Nico Hülkenberg, and Oliver Rowland. They were the retirements of the British Grand Prix. So let's see who set the fastest lap of the race then. And it was Stoffel Van Dorn with a 1 minute 19.577. He was 500 quicker than second place man Fernando Alonso. So there you have it then, guys. That has been it for the British Grand Prix this weekend. I hope you've enjoyed it. It has been a very exciting race. Sadly, not that many overtaken in the top class, but still an exciting race. Nonetheless, that is it then, guys. I hope you've enjoyed it. But we're not done with live streams this weekend, because tomorrow is the Young Drivers Test, also at Silverstone, taking place at 4 PM BST tomorrow. So look out for that. A lot of young drivers trying to impress team bosses in this test. Drivers between 16 to 30 and are currently not racing in the top class. So that will be interesting to watch. Check out that tomorrow at 4 PM BST. The podium for the top class is coming your way just after this. But until then, guys, that has been it. I hope you've enjoyed it. We will see you then, guys, next weekend. If I don't see you at the Young Drivers Test tomorrow at 4 PM BST, we will see you guys next weekend at the French Grand Prix at Magny-Cours for another packed weekend of IFMC. But until then, guys, that's been it. I hope you enjoyed it. Check out on the Apex Online Racing YouTube channel for any of you who have subscribed, as me and OTG will be commentating again for, coincidentally, the British Grand Prix side of the AOR Hype Energy F1 leagues for the PS4. So look out for that at around 8 PM BST. And but until then, guys, that has been it. I hope you've enjoyed it. So thank you very much for watching. I've been JWF1, and if I don't see you tomorrow for the Young Drivers Test, I will see you guys next weekend at the French Grand Prix at Magny-Cours. Until then, take care and enjoy the podium.